My name is Billy Coyne. I was special makeup effects for Dave McDonough's Groundhog. Through the producer, Matty Fisher. Here's truly right here. Sexy beast. Shit, I mean, I've known Matty for more than 5 years now. We've known each other for, what, at least, I want to say close to 8 years. Almost, but we've worked on multiple productions. We, DJ Stan the Man, Insomniac, most recently. But, I mean, we've done, multiple productions, and, it's just one of those, Coyne, I need you. Billy, baby, come on, do some magic for us. And, whenever I hear something like that, it's like, hey, I got to do it for Matty. There's some face got peeled off. James Balsamo's jaw gets ripped off. And a bunch of other gore effects. Calissa Gwendolyn's. I was really kind of, to me, I would say I was really the key designer of Kissa Gwendolyn's makeup, between the prosthetics and where we were laying the blood, and for the fantasy that or nightmare that Sam was having, in bed with all the intestines. That was a lot of fun. We made intestines just for that. We have prosthetics made. We had one prosthetic that was made just for her, and then we recycled it, I remember, which was a lot of fun. So we were fortunate in that respect. But with Kissa, the whole bedroom thing, Balsamo's jaw. I mean, it was, just a real fun slew of makeups that needed to be executed, and it was a fun time. I mean, I always have a fun time with the BoomBastic team.
I think we used about like 10 gallons of blood. I think exactly 10 gallons. The effects were mixed up between like a handful of people. I did some effects, Bill Coyne did some effects, Danielle Schneider did some effects. Danielle Schneider did probably my favorite looking effect of Steve Sandberg getting the wood stake in his eye. If you want to see really great acting, you watch that scene and you watch Steve Sandberg's reaction. My eye! My eye! It's great stuff. It won him an Academy Award that year.
12 to 13 gallons of blood. We're pretty much buying. I was ordering blood while we were using it. I would always have to hit up Amazon and order another gallon. So I think we pumped 12 or 13 all into it. There's 2 layers of messy. One layer would be, we filmed the movie in my house, and my sister's death, when she got stabbed through the door, left the stains on the carpet that I couldn't have. I'm still trying to clean up, but that was messy in-house. Outhouse, with the messiest effects, we probably went out Alex Hawk's death as Thomas Cosgrove. We had Matt Fisher bringing the old school effects supervision and effects. We had Danielle Schneider doing some effects makeup. We had Billy Coyne crafting, doing blood. Everybody was pretty much pulling their weight. So I'd say altogether there was 3 of us doing effects and one puppeteer. There was 3 of us, right? Oh, I didn't.
You're counting yourself? I don't think you're counting yourself.
Oh, yeah.
Number 4.
In all honesty, I didn't read it. No, I'm just joking. I did read the script. I read the script and I thought, this has like 80s nostalgia all over it. That 80s gore nostalgia. I mean, it's like, Happy Birthday to Me, Silent Night, Deadly Night. I mean, it just had those echoes of the 80s holiday slasher, and that's how the movie really kind of promoted itself. But when I read the script, I saw it in there. I mean, even with my line in the movie, I mean, that was a direct homage to Living Dead, the original. Because I think the line in the movie is, yeah, they're dead, they're all messed up, and, I play some Hazmat Pat. That was my character's name, Hazmat Pat. And I said, come in, and they're like, yeah, they're dead, they're all fucked up. So, did a little Chili Billy twist on it. That was definitely a fun little scene. I forgot I was in front of the camera for that one. I've been so used to being behind the camera, but I've been in situations where at the 11th hour, I have to get dragged in. Either maybe a director might say to a certain actor, like, or actors might just, not show up sometimes. And then it's like, Coyne, get in there, so you get drafted in at the 11th hour, whether, if I'm playing bad guy number 3 or, killer number 2 or just even my voice, used. I like it though, but in recent years I've appreciated getting in front of the camera. Maddie definitely has given me some leeway in front of the camera. In fact, when I found out that my performance in Insomniac freaked out Brianna Gonzalez, that definitely made me feel good about myself. The fact that I was able to make her feel a little unsettled, but I mean, it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But yeah, I mean, I think I wouldn't mind taking on more roles in front of the camera, but it really depends on, the project itself. But I enjoy it. It's fun. Maybe subconsciously, but I really didn't have anybody in particular in my head. I mean, when we did Balsamo's death, I found out after the fact that effect was kind of similar to, I think, something in Wishmaster 2 or 3, which I hadn't seen. But I didn't realize the effect was similar. So, if you got to kill someone, you got to kill someone, and you know how you're going to do it, that's great. If you don't know, then you got to devise it. But, I mean, I watch a lot of movies where people say, yeah, I need a decapitation. Well, it's like, what do you want, like a Friday the 13th? Or do you want like a wrong turn half cap? Like, what do you want? But for the makeup effects, there was no direct homage. Maybe subconsciously, but I can't think of anyone. I think my favorite effect was probably Kissa Gwendolyn's half body with the intestines. I love the visuals of that. But for the execution, I think my favorite effect was James Balsamo's death scene, where not only did I do the makeup effects, but I also directed that sequence. And James is a director himself, and Maddie's director, and first time for David. But it didn't feel like there were too many chefs in the kitchen. I mean, I definitely felt like I had some freedom. So there was definitely in directing Balsamo's death scene, it was just a lot of fun, because Balsamo is such a character himself, and he plays this just crazy wild man, taking people's drugs and stuff like that, but becoming friendly with them and actually creating the jaw that was ripped out. I mean, that was a lot of fun. No matter what, you'll always have maybe one or two effects that you can be a little critical of your own work, and as much as I really enjoyed that scene, I wish I just bloodied up the jaw a tiny bit more. But their effects you're always going to love, and there's always going to be maybe one or two. But if they're memorable experiences, then you think of the experiences. You try not to dwell too much on the effects themselves. I mean, people might laugh at them, and if they laugh at them, it's not. I think it's more laughing with than actually at, because it's not a mean-spirited movie. You can laugh at certain. It's those little imperfections that you can laugh at, if you know what I mean.
On Groundhog, you did some second unit directing. Was that the first time you ever directed? And
it was the second time. The first time I did was with one of the Wahlbergs, Artie Wahlberg, in a short movie called Humanity, where I was the first AD, and that was directed by Ned Scannell. And I did first D on that, but on Groundhog, it was really Balsamo's death that was the sequence that they asked me to do beforehand, and it was a lot of fun. I mean, I really enjoyed it, and I think it'd be fun venturing into second unit directing. And because if you film, you can film whatever you want, but you have the inserts. Then you can call me and my troupe of awesome effects guys, and we can really just come in and make things much bloodier and gorier, and just only add to the production. you know. So I think second unit directing is definitely a good step forward, and I think that will be happening definitely more in 2018.
Have you ever thought about directing your own film or plans to in the future?
You know it. You know it. It's definitely a process. It's I really don't want to talk too much about it, but it's like I said. I mean, this year is a year for growth, and you know, I think just to take on more responsibility for me, and just to, you know, break into my own productions, and even under Team BoomBastic, where you know their support is of me, and I'm been good supporters to them. And you know, I think with the BoomBastic team, you know, I could definitely come in and direct something for them, whether if it's a short or whether if it's something on my own. And either way, I mean, I would hire the BoomBastic team because they're top notch. You motherfucker! Why does this always come up? As much as I love practical makeup effects, with Insomniac that we did recently, I actually have a great deal of respect of how computer graphics can actually help and aid physical effects. Would I be at liberty to mention a certain something or for this interview? So one thing I found out is since I did practical makeup for Insomniac with the creature, you know, I mean, now I'm getting a nomination, and I wasn't expecting that whatsoever. And you know, the fact that other people like it, you know, and I think it's just that merriment of what I brought to the table practically, and the CGI, because I think the creature effects look really good, and I don't want to say one over the other anymore. I just think it's a good merriment. Even if you look at a franchise like Final Destination, great situation of mixing practical and computer graphics. Next.
I definitely, for gore and practical all the way, I'm all about rubber puppets and fake blood, like the physical. Anything physical you can touch. CGI, it's good for enhancements, but it's not good for replacing like whole things. But I am an old school like effects guy all the way. Like, I always want practical.
There was a day that we killed like 6 to 8 people.
In one day. That was a busy day.
Do you have any recollection or anything you want to tell about that day?
I remember a lot of blood was being flown around that day. I remember Danielle Schneider and I, the two of us, we were running and gunning, man. We were, you know, Steve Sandberg's death, the wife's death, the guy who gets his, you know, groundhog, you know, he gets killed. I mean, that was insanity, and that almost felt like only an 8-hour day. And the funny thing is, that's a lot for 8 hours just to kill half a dozen people. But we were just running and gunning and spraying blood all over the place and just latexing it up, and not in a sexy way. And we were in total killer mode, And I think we had a great crew. You know, yourself, Danielle Schneider. Probably forgetting a few names, but it was just a real good troupe. I mean, everybody pulled their weight on that, especially in the effects department, because the script was very ambitious, and everyone went above and beyond. What isn't next? Everything is next. You know, there's just lots of good stuff in the works right now. Multiple film productions. You know, I'm in pre-production right now on a few projects. We just had a meeting earlier for one of the productions. You know, looks like a merger, or not a merger, but you know, a new makeup collaboration. You know, I mean, I have my intern now who Shannon was helping us out earlier. But I feel 2018 is going to be one of the best fucking years yet. I think this is the year for growth, and I think growth is really the word of 2018. I think we're going to be. I think things are just going to be getting bigger, and only expanding and only going up. A throwback to the 80s holiday-themed slasher films. I think that's the best way to sum it up. You know, think Silent Night, Deadly Night, but instead it's fucking Groundhog Day. Not Bill Murray style, but, you know, I'm talking, you know, like, you know, I mean, whatever. I mean, it's a guy dressed up in a suit and he's running around killing people. And it's all about how can we kill people in fun ways. And there's some irony, I think, with the casting of Sam Hayes, considering how he's so small, but making him do stuff that's so big. To me, that was, I think, the director's David Lynch moment. A little bit of irony, but it worked.